Hello, my friends. It is Deb Colitas here, and welcome back to the Just Get to Work podcast, where we talk about everything of getting out of our own way, getting others and things and distractions so that we can just focus down and just get to work. In this day and age, man, more and more distractions keep popping up in just whether it's conversation or visuals or what we feel like we need to be doing or pressures from other people. But let me tell you, it's what you and your priorities have in mind that are most important. So today we're going to dive right into LLMs. And if you're like me, over a year ago, I wasn't paying attention to anything having to do with ChatGPT or Grok or Claude or Gemini or whatever you want to call it, because I was like, that doesn't apply to me yet. Well, guess what, my friends? Over the last 8 months, I have been intensely involved in all of these different things so that I can bring it to you, but also to my clients. So let me guide you through what LLMs are and what the heck an LLM actually is and stand for, because there's a lot going on. So let's get to it. What is an LLM? LLM stands for Large Language Model. And as I mentioned a few already, ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Grok, Claude, Microsoft has their own version. Meta has their own version. Everybody seems to be having their own version of an AI LLM. But large language model, in its most simplistic sense, is how AI technology in the back end is looking at patterns of language to develop questions and answers as it relates to how you can go to these platforms, just like you'd go to Google and ask a question or want knowledge in some ways. So it's just as we have things such as, if I say Jack and Jill went up a hill, or I say if it's not right, it's wrong, or if it's not black, it's white. We have patterns within our language that we develop. Now, of course, these are phrases and rhymes that go along with it. So if I put in there a complicated question about my son's, junior year homework in college, I may not have any idea in my head what the pattern is, but there is a pattern. And that's where these platforms, they search an ecosystem of information. It's not just Google that is looking for that one website or list of websites that then provides you with the opportunity to learn. LLMs are providing you with what the actual answer is. So it's changing things in many, many ways, but we're changing, but it's actually a little bit of the same in the pattern of behavior that we have going on as we adjust to new technology. So let's talk about 1998. 1998, Google Search was released. Now, if you remember appropriately, like me in my teenage years, the internet had begun coming around through things like CompuServe, Prodigy, I think is what we had in our house, a little bit before AOL there. And it was how you could connect to others through this internet, this web of information. But until that point, there was some different search engines that had appeared, but it was really more of a call and response where you had to really know what you were looking for, and you had to know that the information was out there. So when Google came on the scene and began to rank searches, which is now something that we're just assuming and familiar with every day, no matter if you're on Microsoft's back end or if you're on Yahoo or Safari or anything, they all do ranking now, is where you put in a search, hey, I'd like a farm near me. Well, it's looking at your IP address, it's looking at addresses, physical addresses around you. They pull things from Google Maps and Apple Maps and other things, and they give you your opportunity to be able to connect it with the information that you're looking for. Well, what happens in a world of LLMs and ChatGPT, when you say, hey, I'm looking for a farm near me, you need to put in as part of the prompt where you are so that it knows. And that is pretty much like a Google search. But what you're able to do and what happens here is you're able to say, hey, I have an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old. We're looking for a pumpkin patch near us in Nazareth, Pennsylvania. We want to make sure there's a corn maze, farm animals, and other fun things to do for kids. Well, you've just layered a whole bunch of expectations that if you enter that into Google, you're still going to get a mishmash of farms, but you are going to have to do the actual checking through the links to see which one matches you. Through ChatGPT and other LLMs, it's going to give you a list of farms and tell you what they actually have attached to them. So there's different ways of understanding how that interfaces with one another. But here's the thing. In 1998, when Google search came out, was there anything or anyone who knew search engine optimization and Google Analytics was going to be something important? No, we were all figuring it out. But here we are decades later. And if you go to LinkedIn, there's over 1 million people in the US alone that have search engine optimization and Google Analytics as part of their profiles, as part of their expertise. So while it was something brand new and people were like, oh my gosh, this is changing everything. Yes, it's changing everything. It has only allowed more people to do more things with what they have. Let's look at the pattern of behavior, because there's a lot of people saying, oh, all this ChatGPT stuff and AI and LLMs, we're going to lose our jobs. Well, there's jobs that are shifting. When we went from cart and horse to car, guess who was really, really upset? The blacksmiths, because they were losing business. But then this whole new world of automotive industry appeared, and look at how many more people had jobs from it. And then when you go from radio to television, oh my gosh, that's it. That's over. This television is evil. Look how much more came from it. Going from, antenna to cable, cable to streaming, everything that we do, there's more opportunities. And yes, are there jobs lost? Can you call them lost, or have they evolved in what they do? Another example, let's jump to 2005. Facebook is then starting to be let out to the masses. Again, was there anyone who was, the social media expert? Heck no, it was brand new. It was a total new way of connecting in different ways. But here we are, again, decades later, and we have hundreds of thousands of individuals that make their living from social media alone. Whether you are on Marketplace selling things, you're doing ads, you're an influencer of some way, it is a growth of an opportunity in how we take it. So I think, this is my prediction, my friends, if I can hire an AI robot to be in my house and cooking for me and doing my laundry and cleaning the litter box, I am all for it. Am I going to have it raise my kids? Heck no. Am I going to have it, give me advice about how I should have my relationship with my husband? Heck no. Those are things about authentic relationships. And I am going to bet you that authentic relationships still come and reign king and queen out of all of this. So yes, is AI going to come and automate a heck of a lot of stuff? Absolutely. But what do I do when I call a service company and I get an AI bot, or I all of a sudden realize it's not another person on the other line? I hang up, because I don't want to be dealing with that. I want to be dealing with a real person. If I don't want a real person, I'm going to go to my computer. I'm going to ask Siri. But there are times like, hey, I just bought a new car. I was having trouble with the Bluetooth setting it up. I then went back to my salesperson. I was done. I had it. I had followed things online. I had followed where it go. I needed someone's actual experience. So that's what I'm inviting you in this world of LLMs. Let's go into it together and just get to work, focusing on being authentic, taking where we are to where we need to go, and doing it together. So what does this mean for you? I have 4 solid things that I want you to take action on today and then the days ahead. So number 1 is learn. If you have not played around with LLMs, I got my 75-year-old mother on ChatGPT the other day. She needed to do a legal document. I said, look, this is going to help you understand the structure and be far ahead so that you know what questions to ask. Learn about it. Don't be afraid to jump, and don't just jump on one of them. I keep saying ChatGPT because that, of course, it seems to be in the news the most familiar with, but I have tabs open on one of my windows, and I literally have 7 different LLM models up there because I want to compare. As a business owner, I go to each and every one of them and I put the same prompt. Hey, I have an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old. I want a pumpkin farm. Where do I go? I can see how our farm comes up, if it does come up, what information it displays, how it displays it, and you get that there's a different feel. No different than between Safari and Google and Yahoo. Those have different feels. You need to understand how these are different yet similar in manner. So number 1 is learn, and don't hesitate to put yourself out there. Number 2 is adjust your mindset. So as of the end of 2025, it was said around 35 to 40% of the population was now using an LLM on a weekly or monthly basis. This is exponentially rising, my friends. When I go to networking groups now and talk to people, I start off the conversation, hey, are you using any LLMs? Do you use ChatGPT? Do you use this? And every single person in the last month has been, oh yeah, I've just gotten into it. Or, oh yeah, no, I've been using it and every single day. This is rising rapidly. So if you think back again to Google, here's the curve of usage. This is where we are on this, my friends. We have to then adjust our mindsets and be able to take care of the opportunity for ourselves, our businesses, our personal workplace, whatever we need to do. We have to make sure that we're on top of it. So number 3 then is stop throwing a fit. It's here. There are things about it, absolutely, that I do not like. Do I like the fact that I hear that people are making personal relationships and, falling in love on it, or that, parents aren't paying attention to their kids and their kids are on it asking dumb questions and getting really dumb responses? No, absolutely. Does it need to make sure that it is the right information at the right time? But again, that's up to us, those who understand it, to guide others on how this can be a positive along the way. There's always going to be a challenge with new technology. I can remember when cable television came to my house the first time. My mom didn't know what MTV was. She had no idea what I was watching, but MTV Spring Break was on in my house. Would I have allowed that as a parent? No, if I had known what it was. But that's why if you can know just a little bit more than others, and others may be that 10-year-old in your house, or your boss, or your competitor. That's where, when we stop throwing a fit about what's changing and then take our mindset and put it where it needs to go, amazing things happen. So here's a Facebook story for you. When Facebook Live first came out, we had a very, very small strawberry patch. We were just getting started. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this out. So I started broadcasting daily. There's my husband totally making fun of me. Like, who's going to be watching you? What's going on with that? Well, guess what? The husband now has a YouTube channel for his snow removal business. He's doing live videos on Instagram and Facebook stories, and it's an integral part of our business strategy and what we do in connecting with our customers and consumers. So, hey, he stopped throwing a fit. He joined the band, and now it's something that's flourishing, and it's an authentic connection we're able to make. So definitely. And then number 4, I kind of started with it, but I'm ending with it. Take action. Take a day and figure out how you can find a day, first of all. But sometimes you can ask ChatGPT, look at my calendar. Where's the time to work? It'll help you figure that out. And just start asking questions. And what we have done, like I said, is I've gone to all of the different LLM models. I've asked it the same question, and then I keep going with it. And then I want to know. Now, I'm using the example here as if you're a business owner. Let's talk about if you work for someone else. You can say, hey, I work for ABC Company. I work in, procurement. I want to make sure that my numbers are on point and doing better than my coworker. What should I be doing when working with this vendor, and this vendor? It is amazing what starts popping up and little things that you learn along the way that gives you an edge for what you should be looking at on a daily basis. And then, hey, we just tried to fix our washing machine through ChatGPT. It was ridiculous. We went to Google. We were typing in the model number. It's an older model number. We were typing in the machine. We weren't finding the manual. It was like 15 minutes later. I'm like, that's it. I'm going to ChatGPT. With one picture of the model number and uploading that over, we had everything in our fingertips within 20 seconds and videos and instructions on exactly what we needed to do. So there's going to be a time and place. I don't see Google going away. Don't get me wrong. Search engines are going to be out there for different reasons and different needs. It's how they all come together. And Google has quite a model because they already have the search engine, and then they've got the Google, whether you call it the AI assistant, you call it, whatever else they have out there, and the Google search and the Google Gemini. So we'll see where it goes and how it happens there. All right, you've got your 4 things. You've learned, you're adjusting your mindset, you're stop throwing a fit, you're taking action. Here is the deal of what needs to happen out there. So again, whether you own your own business, you're working for someone else, every single website in the entire world needs to adjust from just looking at SEO, search engine optimization, to GEO. What is GEO? Generative engine optimization. When you do a call and response in Google of, I'm looking for a farm near me, that is a question that then Google populates and you're off to the races. When you go to a LLM and you ask, I'm looking for a farm near me, you're starting to add much more personal information about yourself to get to that point of you're looking for kid activities, you're looking within a certain radius, you're looking for all this stuff, because then it is an ecosystem that the LLM goes out and searches for to bring back to you. It's not just a one website in a ranked manner. It is an immense amount of information that you can keep pushing back on to drill down to what you're really looking for. And you're not visiting a single website. Let that soak in for a moment. You're spending as a business owner thousands of dollars, thousands, tens of thousands to even get the website up. And then you're spending thousands a year to keep it, up to date. And now I'm telling you that people are going to ChatGPT and they're not even going to see your website, but the information being pulled is from your website. And that's where we're going just from, hey, I hope everyone ends up on focuspointcommunications.com after this YouTube video here. I hope you go there and check out everything that I do. But even more so now, I hope that anyone in ChatGPT going, hey, I'm looking for a consulting company to help me move my website from only being focused on SEO to GEO, and that they have experience in what they do in business, that Focus Point Communications comes up. And that's where we're shifting our website strategy immensely. It's not just about the pretty pictures and video and interactive nature. And, if you have a hover the mouse here, the photo flips or something like that. That is all wonderful for human engagement. And we hope that a ChatGPT LLM search ends up on your website. But this is where upwards of a 65% decrease is happening in site visits. That doesn't mean people aren't looking for you. It doesn't mean that people aren't finding out about you. They're just choosing not to click, because two things. One, the LLM has given them the information that they're looking for, and so they don't need to click. Or two, unfortunately, your information didn't even show up, so there was no opportunity to click. And those are the two things that we intently in 2026 need to fix, and what Focus Point Communications is focusing on. And I'd love to help you in different ways. So let's go through a couple of examples of easy ways that maybe if you're monitoring your own site on Squarespace, or you know a little bit of WordPress, that you can do. Take a look on what you have for an FAQ page, because at the end of the day, LLMs is you are asking it questions and seeking a response. We are totally redesigning our farm page right now. And thank God we have time, because we're not open until strawberry season. And this is going to be a wild FAQ page of 40, 50 questions, where it's not just FAQ for the masses. This is FAQ for AI. It is a question and then an answer. And the answer is only going to be 2, maybe 3 sentences max. Because if I am then explaining beyond 3 sentences, that needs a new question. Because if I can figure out what everyone around me is asking about strawberry season, I'm looking for a strawberry farm near me. Guess what? I'm going to have that on my website that says, I'm looking for a strawberry farm near me. And my answer is going to be, we serve, Bethlehem, Easton, Allentown, McCungie. We're going to list all of that out. It is going to kind of look a little silly to the humans, but to the bots, to the AI, to the LLMs all together, this is heaven for them. They're like, yes, we're finding exactly the answer of what the question was asked. Here's the current hack that you can do on LLMs that they're in the midst of figuring out how to do. I can post my own articles on my website saying Valley Fruits and Veggies is the best farm in the Lehigh Valley for strawberry picking. And guess what? If someone then is going to ask ChatGPT, what is the best farm for strawberry picking in the Lehigh Valley? Because I'm telling them on the website we're the best, it's going to say we're the best. Is this authoritative language? Of course not, because I'm writing it for myself. And that's where authoritative language and authoritative sites are going to become even more valuable. Now, there's already been releases from many of the LLMs that say, hey, we recognize this, that businesses and services and whoever can kind of bolster themselves up in those searches by just using these really just flattering languages, let's call it that, to get them there. They're taking care of that in 2026. That is not the long game. You may go today and, put up an article on your website that says you're the best. That's fine. But let me tell you, the LLMs, they're learning also our tricks that we do as humans, and they're passing them aside. My goal for Focus Point Communications and for our farm and for our other businesses that we have is how can I get articles out there that then give information and value? And so that when the LLMs search, they go, ooh, wait a minute, Valley Fruits and Veggies, they have the same information on Google Maps as they do Apple Business, as they do on the local directory for farms. They want to see LLMs that you have the same information out there that verifies you are who you are, you do what you do, and how you do it. So make sure that you're out there and you're consistent in your language about yourself. So those are two things so far, an FAQ and then making sure the language about you out there matches wherever you go. Last but not least, you need to focus on your homepage and what information are you trying to give your audience first, second, and third, and how can you make it as consistent as possible over time? This is what's hard, especially if you're a business that changes during the year. A farm is changing all the time. It's a little easier definitely for Focus Point Communication because we have our set services and we can highlight them in an easy way. If you are a retail and you've got new specials and new things going on, you have to dig deep into how you list your items for sale and what type of words and adjectives describe it. Because if someone's searching is looking for specific things, you need the best chance possible to show up in their LLM search by the language that you have alongside. So here's another thing to do. With whatever image you place on your website, make sure that at least in the code, you have a description of what that photo is. So if you are launching a brand new lipstick and that photo and you spent thousands of dollars on that photo shoot and everything going on, you make sure that in the back end of that code, you're describing exactly everything about that lipstick. The color, the ingredients, the lusciousness, the purpose, the longevity. Don't just think, oh, red lipstick, $14.99. That would be a deal, by the way. You want to make sure that it's all there in the background because every interaction counts of language and how these large language models are picking it up. And that is called a schema in the back end of the website. So there's definitely things you need to know. So here is the last thing that I want to do in the Just Get to Work here as we're spending time together. There are so many scams out there right now about this. So many scams. If you see anyone, anywhere, or any company saying, oh, I'm going to help you rank on the LLMs, is a complete and false lie. You can't rank on LLMs. You can only put information out there over time and consistency and the longevity of your message that'll allow you the better chance of showing up depending upon what the question is. There are dashboards that are appearing that are somewhat relevant, but nothing is being put out by the LLMs themselves because, again, it's not that call and response of Google. It's not that social media search for a thing or a place or a person or a business. This is an ecosystem working to be able to get your message or your brand or your product out there in different ways. So please don't fall to, we'll help you do this. And please don't sign up for a monthly account somewhere of someone who says they're going to monitor and manage it. You need a real person to talk to because as fast as this video is being made, that's how fast ChatGPT has announced that they're going to start ads. But ads are only going to go to those who aren't having the premium version of ChatGPT without ads. Kind of like Netflix where you can pay for ads or without ads. That's their model right now. So you're still not guaranteed because if you're looking for high-end customers are probably much more likely to pay to not have ads. But yet, you're trying to go for something. So there's always something to learn. So my friends, thanks for hanging out with me today on the Just Get to Work. There's a lot and it's going to continue changing. So keep learning, keep just, adjusting your mindset, keep getting to work with it all. And if you are like, oh my goodness, Deb, I've got so much to think about now, please reach out. I'm happy to help, happy to have more conversations in any way that helps you launch your business or your professional career in different ways to lead it to the top. Thanks, my friend. Have a blessed day.